Direct objects in English are nouns or pronouns that receive the action of a verb by answering the questions of what or whom. They are the thing or person that the verb acts on. It is different from the subject, which performs the action. Some simple phrases are: I pay the bill. You have a car. He raises his arm. She discusses this lesson. We give many gifts and they make hats. The direct objects in these sentences are all nouns because they all come after the verb by receiving its action. Plus, in this case, they answer what. What do I pay? I pay the bill. What do you have? You have a car. What does he raise? He raises his arm, and so on. The subject performs the action, the verb shows the action, and the direct objects receive it. Moreover, the verbs in these sentences are transitive because they require direct objects. These verbs are incomplete if they are not followed by a direct object. Saying these sentences without direct objects will not make sense because the verbs are transitive and they require direct objects. However, some English verbs don't take a direct object because they're not used to express acting on a thing or person. These verbs are known as intransitive verbs because a direct object never follows them, and therefore, other elements like adverbs, adverbial clauses, or prepositional phrases can follow them and still make sense. In other words, intransitive verbs don't require a direct object to make sense. So by having just a subject and a different element, a sentence will make sense on its own. Such verbs can be to sleep, to laugh, to sneeze, to increase, to die, and more. He sleeps on the floor. She laughs all the time. Someone sneezes loudly. Prices are increasing daily. And the car suddenly died last night. These sentences don't have any direct objects and instead use adverbs, adverbial clauses, or prepositional phrases to make sense, and so they are logical without direct objects. Even so, they can still make sense without the other components, which is why they're intransitive, but to show more context, it's better to keep them. On the other hand, some verbs can be transitive or intransitive, depending on the situation, and these verbs are ambitransitive. Sometimes, these verbs can use direct objects to support the context, or work without direct objects, which will make them rely on other components, or remain by themselves. Some examples are: I am eating, he runs, and they read. These sentences make sense because the ambitransitive verbs are logical enough on their own. But, for a better context, we can implement more words by adding direct objects like I am eating a pizza, he runs in the race, and they read a book, or other phrases like I am eating right now, he runs at night, and they read quietly. In English, different forms of personal pronouns are used depending on whether a pronoun is functioning as a subject or an object. As I said at the beginning, direct objects are nouns or pronouns that receive the action of a verb by answering the questions of what or whom. So far, we have only seen nouns that answered what, but the pronouns are something important to know. When answering the question of whom, this is where we introduce direct object pronouns that replace nouns that have already been mentioned. It's essential to understand the difference between subject pronouns, like I, you, he, she, it, we, and they, and direct object pronouns. Direct object pronouns replace nouns to avoid the need to repeat the same noun. Pronouns can refer to people, places, things, and ideas, and they do so to avoid repetition and improve communication. In English, direct object pronouns look like this: me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. In comparison to subject pronouns, you and it are the only pronouns that have not changed grammatically, while the rest have different forms. What's special about direct object pronouns is that they also receive the action of a verb, just like nouns. But, most of the time, the question of whom will be answered because these are modifications for personal pronouns, and persons are people that answer whom. Some examples are: I see you. You see me. He loves her. She loves him. We are watching them, and they are watching us. Here, the direct objects are pronouns because they also come after the verb by receiving its action and by answering whom. Whom do I see? I see you. Whom do you see? You see me, and so on. Likewise, the verbs are transitive and need direct objects. Similar to the phrases at the beginning of the video, the question of what can also be used with direct object pronouns, which will mainly use the pronouns of it and them. It is an object pronoun that's more common than them, and them can refer to both people and things. But still, the two can replace all nouns that are non-personal and not repeat the same information twice. Instead of saying, I pay the bill, I can say, I pay it. Instead of saying, you have a car, I can say, you have it. He raises it. She discusses it. We give them, and they make them. In this case, it was used more than them, but the two still acted as direct objects, just in the form of pronouns. Additionally, pronouns do not work with intransitive verbs because these verbs are logical enough to make sense on their own with other components. But pronouns can work with ambitransitive verbs because they can use direct objects depending on the context. Instead of saying, I am eating a pizza, I can say, I am eating it. Instead of saying, he runs in the race, I can say, he runs in it. Instead of saying, they read a book, I can say, they read it. Once again, it was used in all sentences because it easily replaced all non-personal nouns, so it's by far the most common direct object pronoun. Finally, direct objects can be more than just one word. Sometimes they are the whole phrase or clause in a sentence because they act as nouns. These can be noun clauses, which typically start with a relative pronoun like that, gerund phrases, which start with an ing, or infinitive phrases, which start with the to form of a verb. Some examples are, I said that I will go. He loves running in the park. He wants to eat something tonight. In all of these sentences, the direct objects act as separate phrases and complete the context. That I will go is a noun clause because it starts with the relative pronoun that. Running in the park is a gerund phrase because of the ing in the verb. To eat something tonight is an infinitive phrase because it starts with to. We can prove that all of these are direct objects by equally asking, what did I say? I said that I will go. What does he love? He loves running in the park. What does he want? He wants to eat something tonight. This is the role of direct objects in English.